Huddle with corporate cars, delivering affordable luxury European vehicles nationwide.
Cameron Slater from Whale Oil. Hello, Cam.
Hey, Larry.
And Josie Pagani is with us. Hello, Josie.
Hi, guys.
Josie, first issue to you is the Greens solar power. They want to give out low-interest loans to assist people to buy solar panels, pay it back over, 15 years? What do you see in this? I say, why would you bother?
Well, I think you've got to bother with a whole bunch of things, and certainly solar panels aren't the panacea that the Greens might like to think they are. But the truth is, this national government's promised, I think, 90% of our electricity will be from renewable sources by 2025. So you've got to be open-minded. You can't just demonise solar because you don't like hippies or demonise oil because you don't like oil. We've got to look at everything. The problem with solar is that you can't store the energy. So when the sun's shining, it's great, and yes, you reduce carbon emissions when you use it, but you can't store it. So you still need to be on the grid in the winter when it's dark and it's cold. So it's always going to be a mix and match of things, but I don't think it should be ruled out simply because it's a green policy. And
well, no, and I think and it's good to see the Greens sticking with what they know best. But I think they get a fail rate in this, Cameron, because the economics are dubious at best.
Oh, it hasn't worked in Germany. It's not going to work here. Anything that requires a subsidy to make it go is not a business proposition in the first place. If solar was the panacea, as Josie has rightly pointed out, it isn't. If it was, and there was these dramatic savings that could be had, then people would be doing it voluntarily. They don't need a subsidy to go and do it.
But Cam, you're against subsidies, so I mean, in your line, John Key should stop all the film subsidies. So that's a whole other argument. But I think the point is
subsidies. So anything that needs a subsidy from the get-go, that requires a discount on interest rates or anything, it's farcical. The numbers don't add up.
Well, we've never had anything.
The Greens are wanting a 2,000% increase in uptake of solar power on a $2 saving a week.
Here's the thing, though. What's interesting about it is that the thing you can do that actually would have the most effect on looking after the environment is to try and manage those peak time demands. So that's, winter when it's cold and dark.
Rationing,
and some of the old-fashioned ideas like night heaters and heat your water at night and the ripple control system, smart meters where you've got your washing machine talking.
Well, that's all good. What's that got to do with the Green solar power system?
I'm just saying you've got to look at everything because one of the things that will do the best for the environment. That doesn't mean you throw out solar because Cam doesn't like subsidies.
Cameron, issue number 2 for you is health advocates lining up against big food companies. They want a tax on unhealthy food. What do you see in this?
Well, I think that this is just another example of taking tactics that they've used again. That these people have been in the trough for years. In the health trough attacking tobacco companies, they're now they're even using the same terms. You're labelling it big sugar, big food. We've got a bunch of vested interests here who are looking at expanding their trough, getting extra funding, and smashing up corporates because everybody hates corporates and they think that they can do that. I think it is appalling that we're talking about tax increases. We're talking about all these things that are going to supposedly make people thin. Now, if we look at the tobacco industry, has increasing taxes stopped people smoking? No,
yes.
There's still 700,000 people smoking. It doesn't work. If you look at David Farrer, he's got off his backside, exercised, lost a considerable amount of weight, and he's eating less.
All right,
that's all you need to do.
Josie, it's simple, isn't it? You shovel more stuff in, you get fatter.
Exactly. Look, I think the big tobacco, plain packaging stuff, I think that's a good idea. But big food, honestly, give me a break. Take me back to the 80s, and the only problem we had was big hair.
We'll come back in a moment, of which I don't have a lot. Anyway, Josie Pagani and Cameron Slater, NewstalkZB, it is 14 to 6.
Asking questions and waiting for answers. It's Larry Williams Drive with ANZ, supporters of New Zealand's Winter Olympic team on NewstalkZB.
Josie Pagani and Cam Slater on the Huddle. Cam, you have been in the news a bit lately over .com. First we had Mr Peters claiming the spooks had been watching him and had passed the information on to the Prime Minister. Now Mr Cunliffe is coming up with the same sort of stuff. What do you see in this?
I'd like the details of their drug dealer for whatever crack they're smoking. It's certainly affecting their thinking processes quite substantially. I know where I got my information from. and I know where other people are getting their information from, and it sure as hell isn't the spies, the spooks, or anything else. This is just, laughable that they're trying to head down that path. But if they want to cuddle Kim.com, then that's fine. In the coming weeks, as I release more and more information, then they can just get covered in the splatter, and I'm all good with that.
Josie.
Yeah, I mean, everybody knows that there are staff in the .com mansion who aren't being paid who are leaking to Cam. There's no big sort of spy conspiracy here.
I'm not confirming or denying anything.
I'm sure you're not, no, but I'm actually wondering if we even need the GCSB if we've got Cam. He's a sort of combination of the East German Stasi police and the headhunters. So, there's no conspiracy here. There's just Cam.
Yeah, it is hard to see their strategy here. But anyway, Cameron, Colin Craig taking legal action against Russell Norman. What's your view of this?
Look, Colin's been probably sitting watching all of this news, and every other minor party leader who's trotted out to the .com mansion getting attention, and he's feeling a little bit lonely, so he thought, I'll try and have a flick at Russell Norman. It's just shameless attention-seeking from an irrelevant, frankly crazy politician. It's
also stupid. I mean, you don't win elections in the courts, you win them in the court of public opinion. What he should be doing is going into the media like he is and debating the issue. And unfortunately, he says silly things like, I think this was his attempt at a joke, but he said, I don't think a woman's place is in the kitchen. She should be allowed in all the rooms in the house.
Well, the thing is, though, is that, David Cunliffe's now competing with him for crazy things with his .com claims. So, you've got all of these politicians on the fringes, and some that are somewhat less on the fringe, coming up with crazy stuff, all in an attempt to get publicity. They should focus on what Kiwi voters actually care about, which is the state of the economy. And unfortunately, David Cunliffe doesn't have a very good message.
Cameron's managed to segue into the economy and David Cunliffe and an attack on the Labour Party with this, which is superb. But to bring it back to the message, Judith Collins learnt this lesson a couple of years ago when she tried to take Andrew Little and Trevor Mallard to court, if you remember, over the ACC stuff.
They retracted and apologised.
Yeah, but, I mean, she learnt the lesson that it just doesn't look good that, to say I take my reputation seriously and take other politicians to court just looks like you're not very
There's far too many people in New Zealand, Josie, they run off to court because they're slighted by what someone said or written about them. They're sensitive wee petals, and they really need a good dose of, a good cup of concrete.
A cup of concrete. Thank you, Cam. Cam Slater and Josie Pagani on the Huddle. NewstalkZB Sport in just a moment. It's 8 to 6.